Steve Scruggs joined the Lakeland EDC Development Council as president in 1987 and is currently serving in his 32nd year with that organization, which is approximately 140 members. Steve received a Bachelor of Science degree from Troy State University in Troy, Alabama, and his master's degree in economic development at the University of Southern Mississippi in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Steve is married to Tammy, and they have 3 children, and the family are members of the Trinity Presbyterian Church. To do this, I got feedback from quite a few different people, but knowing Steve like I do, I had to cut it back because he's a very humble individual, as you know. But Steve is a visionary and exceptional, get things done type of leader. Steve started in 2005 the LEDC High Skill Investor Group, and these companies are making regular visits to many other progressive cities, and these trips have been very beneficial to our community in many ways, in higher education, healthcare, downtown, and it resulted in creating Catapult 1.0, and now we have Catapult 2.0 under construction. So please join me in giving a warm Rotary welcome to Steve Scruggs.
Well, good afternoon. How's everybody? We will get out at 1 o'clock, I promise. I've got the screen right in front of me. Sean, I want to say thank you for all that you do here at First United Methodist. For 32 years, about 30 years, I was lugging around a projector, screens, sound systems, and it is wonderful to just show up and get a clicker. Thank you, brother. Let's give him a big hand. I'm sure you tell Sean thank you every week, but I needed to do that. It's great to be with such familiar faces in here, people that I go back with really all my life. I grew up in Winter Haven and came to Lakeland and have been here a long time, and so it's just wonderful to see everybody here. Be thinking of some good questions for me. I'm going to really do a shorter presentation because I think I'd like to have a conversation with you. So in your bulletin or your text or your social media, it said I was going to give a downtown presentation. I'm really going to talk about economic development more on a general, bigger view picture. We can talk a little bit about what's going on downtown, but there's other people in the audience, Julie Townsend or Nicole Travis, that could probably do a better job of that than me. And then finally, I would say, next time you want to know who, Joelle, you want to know who the, like a Lincoln question, who the president was or whatever. I mean, since Nicole's here, she's omnipresent. I would ask her next time. She obviously knows the answer to everything. Just kidding. Okay, let's talk a little bit about development activity. So let me see if I can make this PowerPoint work. This is just a little bit about the LEDC. We're a nonprofit. We have about 140 companies that are members of the LEDC. They pay anywhere from $2,500 to $50,000 to be a member. Our budget's about $1.1 million. We have a staff of 5, and that's who we are. We also do have a couple other organizations that we get to work with. One of those is Y Lakeland. You might be familiar with. It's a talent recruitment and retention group. And then we also have Catapult, which Dean mentioned earlier, which is an entrepreneur center here in the basement of the Bank of America building in downtown Lakeland. So let's talk a little bit about what's going on in Lakeland. And I could not think of a better time to talk about what's going on in Lakeland than today. This is the best economy that we have ever seen in my 32-year career in Lakeland. It's by far and away the best. There are many years we got up here and talked about 1 million square feet of industrial warehouse space, office, retail, manufacturing, and we thought that was a great year. When we get to the end of this presentation, I want you to repeat after me how many square feet we're going to be talking about, because it is crazy. So let's talk about a big project. This is the old Sooner Defense Plant out on at I-4 County Line Road area, New Tampa Highway. Old Tampa Highway area. It was in 1988, Sooner Defense took it. Not too long after that, they went out of business. If you remember, some of you that have been around here a long time, and there are quite a few of you, that company went out of business and a company moved here that made airbags called Breed. Breed became Key Safety. Key Safety started divesting some of the property out there. One of the biggest projects that you would be familiar with would be the Amazon warehouse. That's on their property on County Line Road. They sold that. So there's 1 million square feet there. And then this is what's going on the remainder of the property. So the big building closest to you is an IKEA warehouse, distribution center for IKEA. It's just about to open and get going here. There's 2 other buildings being built on the site. We're negotiating with a company right now to take both of those buildings. It's a household name, a place that you would shop in Lakeland as well. We hope that we can close that deal. And then their building, the key safety building here, will be torn down and rebuilt. And they're staying in Lakeland. They're one of Lakeland Electric's largest customers, so we're glad to keep them. And so you'll see that construction coming up in the next year or so. Great repurpose of an old facility. Not only do we have 1 company there now, we'll have 4. This is Center State Logistics. For those of you that have been around Lakeland a long time, this was the old Hooters racetrack at 33 and I-4, across the street from the auto auction. This is a very large facility that was leased to PepsiCo. It's mainly just filled with Gatorade. This is a huge Gatorade warehouse. There are 2 other buildings that are going to be built on that site. One of those is coming out of the ground now, a 440,000 square foot building. Out in that same area, it's really technically in Polk City, but if you go out on 33 and you go past this, the old Hooters racetrack, this is a facility that was built for Best Buy. It's a large distribution center and about 600,000 square feet. This is a roofing project out on Cumbie Road. There will be 3 100,000 plus square foot buildings. If you drive out past the power plant, you'll see this project on your left-hand side before you get to, way before you get to I-4, actually before you get to the intersection there. And these buildings, anyway, the site work's going on for this right now. Let's see. I don't typically talk about institutional projects because they happen because there's a market for it, but this is a pretty big one. I mean, when we start looking at capital investment to have a project like $125 million come out of the ground, 350,000 square feet, just a fantastic facility for us in our community. BMR Suspension, this is a facility that's out on County Line Road. It's a company that moved here from Hillsborough County, and if you like to soup up Camaros and Dodge Chargers and stuff, these are the people you go to. You buy all kinds of supercharged stuff for your race cars here in Lakeland. Pepperidge Farm, they are expanding their 300,000 square foot facility in Lakeland by 90,000 square feet. The 90,000 they've leased out next to the Pepsi Brew Hub area from Wesley Beck. The reason that they did that is they wanted to move the distribution portion out of their current facility so that they could add manufacturing lines in the building. We'll have more manufacturing lines in there than we ever have. That opened in 1987. So they've been here a long time and continue to expand in our market. Let's talk about Memorial Boulevard. So if you know where Lakeland Auto Mall is, I know Corey does. Just down the street from that was an old truck stop. It was 40 acres. It was vacant for the entire time that I've lived in Lakeland. It was really an eyesore, and we had a developer come in from Atlanta and buy that land and build 2 industrial warehouse buildings, and this is one of the tenants, Crown Laundry, that's taken this facility. They're a commercial laundry service. I think a lot of us would say this is a big improvement to the neighborhood. Again, the roof ends. This is a project out near the airport, and I bet it's more than 50% leased now?
About
60 now. We have 3 really cool projects. Can we talk about them or not? Okay, well, we won't. Next time I come, we'll tell you everything that's in there. But we are starting to see some clients that are moving into Lakeland, that are moving into these kind of projects that aren't just warehouse. These are small manufacturing companies, and we love manufacturing because manufacturing really benefits the city more than any kind of company that moves here. And the reason that manufacturers are the best, really, for us to try to attract here, especially value-added, high-skill, high-wage employers, is because, number one, they pay the city water fees, which we make 15 to 20% on. They pay wastewater, which we make 15 to 20% on. They're electric customers. I have no idea what we make on them. Joel could tell you. They pay ad valorem taxes, they pay intangible taxes on all that equipment, and they pay well. So these types of companies that are moving into our community really make the city a lot of money. And when they put this heavy equipment in a facility, they don't tend to move. So this is good. Just a little stop. This is a large distribution facility that's out at 33 and I-4. Express Global Logistics. They're a similar company to Saddle Creek Corporation. There's another company here called Premier. So we have 3 of those logistics companies now in Lakeland. Treat is a flavors and essence company that's also out there on 33 past the power plant. This company is from England. We have 6 of these companies in Lakeland. They're here because of the citrus industry. All of the jobs are high skill, high wage, a lot of people in white lab coats. They're doubling the size of their facility. And so this should be open later around summertime. It's about a 65,000 square foot expansion. Tai Chen is another company that's out there at 33 and I-4 that is a distributor that's expanded recently. Coming. Eastern Metal Supply, it's not hard to see the expansion there, the different color on the roof. They've been out near the airport. This is across the street from Lakeland Linder, and they just expanded their facility. Geico. So Geico moved to Lakeland in 1993 at the Lakeland Airside Center that the city had recently purchased, and they had 18 employees when they moved here. Anybody want to guess how many they've got now? 3,500. You never know who's going to knock on your door. You never know what's going to happen. You treat everybody the same, just like the 4-way test, right? What a wonderful project for Lakeland. So they ran out of space in their 300,000 square foot building, so they had to add another 50,000 square foot facility. And not only is it a office for about 500 people, but it's also a training facility where they bring people in from all over the country to do training here in Lakeland. This is the old J.M. Fields building. If you've been around Lakeland a long time, Sykes was in here for a while. They moved out. The Results Company expanded from Winter Haven, 600 jobs in this facility. So this is right down the street from my good friend and the person that introduced me, Dean Boring. Digiarc is a company that you may or may not be familiar with, but you will know where they're located today. So if you know where Outback Steakhouse is, or Bank of Central Florida down there on the corner across the street from Bonefish. So this company has 80 high skill, high wage, high tech, kind of computer people that are in Lakeland. They do online software, educational software for some of the largest universities in the country. They looked at moving out of Lakeland because they could not find a building here. A local, not local developer, a developer from Rochester, New York, who has a lot of stuff in Lakeland, is building them a building. So if you're on your way up Pipkin Road, on the way to Geico, on the right-hand side, you'll see some construction going on. That's the building that they'll be moving into, and they'll be adding more jobs here. We're pretty excited about that. Mid-Florida, you guys are familiar. Do I have to tell you where this is? Edgewood. Like you turn to go to Lowe's, right there in that corner. The building's been there a long time. So they needed a customer contact facility, and so they're moving in here. It's really nice to have a headquarters of a credit union in Lakeland. They just continue to expand, kind of like Publix. Just every time you turn around, they're adding jobs. It's a great company for us. So a quick recap. What did I say would be good if we did how many square feet in a year? 1 million. That's 4.7 million square feet of development, 1,800 new jobs, 423 million in capital investment. Let's just talk for a couple minutes about coming soon, like what's next, what's on the horizon. So let me see if we can show you just a few things. So we talked a lot about 33 and I-4. So this is Lake Parker, the power plant's right here. And if you drive up 33 to get to the interstate, and this is where the auto auction is, or the Hooters racetrack. A lot of activity in this area. So for Lakeland, for the last 10 years, County Line Road's been ground zero. Whether it's been the projects that we just showed you, like the IKEA projects, or Amazon, or O'Reilly. Now you're seeing a lot of things happening on the Plant City side. You're going to see a lot of development on that side because they ran sewer and water out there, the city did, and we've run out of land. on that, in that area. This is the new horizon here, this 33 and I-4. There's a reason the Ruthvens are building spec warehouses there. There's a reason that these big developers are coming from out of town. So this will be a new park that's coming and a new building, about 712,000 square feet. If you remember the old golf course that was up there, this is in that area. I love this. The Drag Strip Logistics Center. Guess where that is? Yeah, the drag strip right next to the Hooters racetrack. So this will be a new 700,000 square foot facility. The Lakeland Commerce Park, which is also up there in that 33 and I-4, is just past the auto auction on the right-hand side. This land fronts I-4. Rooms to go. Oh my goodness. Company that moved here in 1991. It was Siemens Furniture. They left the Northeast. They came to Lakeland. They hired a guy named Jerry Hand out of Sears to run it. They were here and leased a couple 100,000 square feet. And I got a call one day from Jeffrey Seaman in the early 90s, and he said, Steve, I just wanted to let you know we've bought a site in Seffner, and we're going to build a 700,000 square foot facility in Seffner, and we're leaving Lakeland. And that, you don't get those calls very often when you're in my business. It's usually like they call you and they want to, you know, hey, what can you do for me, you know, type thing. And so we wish you the best. Got a call another, maybe like 2 years later. Hey Steve, this is Jeffrey Seaman. I said, yeah. He said, it hadn't worked out too good over here in Seffner. We'd like to come back to Lakeland. Can you help us find a site? Which has now turned into almost 3 million square feet of space. And so, again, use your four-way test. Never, 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 always be kind, always be gracious. Be Dorsey Hightower, right? That's what you always got to be. Just be Dorsey Hightower. Of course, the big thing would be Publix headquarters. This has been a project we've been working on for 3 years at least. And it's hard to keep something like that quiet for 3 years, by the way. But we're very excited about this 190,000 square foot expansion. It will create 700 new high-skill, high-wage jobs in Lakeland. We will have some traffic improvements in that area that everybody that drives on Drainfield Road out near the airport will be thankful for. And so, yeah, what else can we say about Publix? And then, I guess, in the coming soon, it's 1.7 million square feet, 700 jobs, and 75 million in capital investment. If you saw the slide that combined both of those, it would be 6 million square feet. 6 million square feet. Lakeland, for almost 30 years, was doing 1 million square feet a year. Okay, so you did ask for a little downtown development. I'm going to go through this quick, but this is the overpass that we all drive on, the in-town bypass. This is the fire station site. So the city's going to be building a dog park here next year, which is coming. And I've just shown that basically because I want to show you a few other things. The old Lakeland Brewing will be a food hall, you know that. John Bucklew, who's a local, is putting 7 or 8 restaurants in here with a brewery. I've heard just different rumors, but it'll be like a Grove Roots, let's just put it that way, that will move into here, which has been very successful in Winter Haven. So that should open up in April or May. I think May, probably, time period. Next to that, there will be a new office building that Wesley Beck is building. 5 of our locals, if you haven't heard, are moving in here. Greg Masters, Southern Homes, Jack Harrell from Harrell's Fertilizer, Mike Houghton, Palmetto Capital, Barney Barnett, because he's retiring in April and needs a place to go. That's a joke, but it's true. And then Wesley Beck will have his office in here. This is going to be a fantastic project for downtown Lakeland. And how many new offices have we built in the last 20 years downtown? And then next to that will be Catapult. And we have 2 of our board members that are on Catapult in here, Alicia and Leela. Both serve on the Catapult board. I don't know if anybody else is in here, but I see 2 of them. This project is a $10 million project. It's probably going to be more than that, but that was our original budget. Steel and concrete have gone up a lot in the last year. But you can ask me questions about this later, but that should be up by October 1st. we'll be tilting the walls up in 3 or 4 weeks. And once that happens, you're gonna go like, whoa, this is a massive building and quite a big deal. And let's see, I think, yeah, there's the walls being poured on site, and then they will tilt those up. You can see the windows in them and everything. And I think, maybe, hopefully, that might, oh, I forgot. Yeah, and then the new parking garage. So this just was signed. It's the first parking garage built in downtown Lakeland in 40 years. There'll be 824 spaces. On one end of this garage will be an office building. I believe we've already got somebody signed up to take a good portion of it. That, if you're looking at that, and Bob Eckenroth will be looking at this every day from his office, but this is right across the street from CPS. So again, another office coming to downtown Lakeland. And then of course Meriton, and that's a project Nicole can tell you about, but Nicole, what are we thinking now? April-ish. So it's really gonna happen, it's coming. Yeah, and there's your 6.5 million square feet, almost $500 million of investment in a pretty short period of time. I'm done, and I've left 12 minutes for questions. What you got? Yes, sir.
There was a great article on Wall Street there, really showcasing, and but the negative about it, the whole article was all of the warehousing and things like that were building will lose a lot of jobs due to the article.
Correct. I thought that was a comment, Cal, but the question, yeah, there was an article in the Wall Street Journal this week that highlighted Lakeland as ground zero for the highest tech warehouses in the country. If it ended there, it would have been really positive. But that was the gist. But basically, they were projecting that eventually a lot of this technology will put people out of jobs. I've been hearing that for my whole life, but we keep creating jobs, so I'm not too worried about it. I think it was a good spotlight for Lakeland. Southern Wine and Spirits is highly, it's the most automated, largest warehouse of its kind in the country. And I'm pretty sure American ingenuity will figure it out. That's my answer to that one. What else you got? Julie?
So the growth in the warehouses is great. My question is, why do you think they need to go to the Winter Haven Logistics Center, which is supposed to be the saving place of our entire county and create 8,500 new jobs, and 10 years later it's still like 150?
Yeah. So the question is, or at least comment and slash question would be that there was an intermodal facility that was built in Winter Haven. Julie and I and others, were concerned about that. I don't think today we have as much to be concerned about as we did 10 years ago, but it's in Winter Haven. There's been one speculative building built there. It's a 400,000 square foot warehouse, and that warehouse has about, 150,000 square feet of at least on a month-to-month basis to a water bottle company. It's been basically vacant for years. Since the time that that was announced and put in the Intermodal Center. And if you don't know, the Intermodal Center is basically they bring truck trailers in on trains, offload them, put them on trucks, and then your product comes to your warehouse or whatever. So it's not been successful. It's not been what they promised. It's not even close to what they promised. And so I guess that I-4 is just a lot more important than Highway 60 and 27. It's just the market drives. The market always drives. So I would just say that the good news about that is we don't have as many trains coming through downtown Lakeland. All right, what else? Yes, Nis?
Steve, what about Florida Poly and the property immediately adjacent? Any technology companies looking, anything about technology?
Yeah, so Florida Poly, the biggest thing that's happening out there is the SunTrax project. And I would say that is the technology application that we have today that's coming out of the ground and will be operational before the end of the year. And it's a big deal. It's a really big deal. Because it's really not just the turnpike and their testing. The whole infield of that project is supposed to be for driverless vehicles. And so as that begins to happen, we really believe that automobile manufacturers will want to come down here and test their products or have facilities here. So that's what we need to be praying for and hope for. And yeah, so that's the big one right now. What else? Got 7 minutes. I'll start calling on people. Yeah.
I noticed construction going on just on the west side of Lockheed, there right off of the parkway. Is that one of the projects you described?
No, it isn't one of the projects we mentioned because it's down the road, but Lockheed Martin, who has about 400 or 500 people in Lakeland that's out there at Grasslands that moved here in 1989 as General Electric. They also, by the way, moved in, I'll answer the question, I'm getting there, but it gives me a chance to talk about Lockheed for a second. They moved here in 1989 and became, Martin Marietta and then Lockheed Martin. They also moved into the old Piper aircraft plant that the city purchased. So if the city had not bought that, we wouldn't have got Geico or Lockheed potentially, because we had an inexpensive office out there that people could use. They used the engineering building at the time. And by the way, Jenna Cowley went with me, 10, 15 years ago to Washington, D.C. to do a recruitment of high-end accounting people from Lockheed to Lakeland from Fredericksburg, Maryland. And they were all 100,000 plus jobs as they moved their call center out of Lakeland and brought in their high-pay people to Lakeland. And so our job was to recruit those people to want to move to Lakeland out of Maryland. And it was successful. So next to that is auto owners insurance. So they're out by Lone Palm and they bought that site and they're clearing it, but it's down the road. It's at least a year away. That's what's going there. So auto owners insurance out of Michigan. Yes?
I have been paying attention to it lately, but Linda to the developments and servicing the companies and the people that come for jobs.
Yeah, has Gene Conrad spoke lately? Yeah, so, but to answer that question briefly, I'd say Lakeland Linder is a huge part of our economic development of our community. And the big things that are happening out there, really the biggest things that are happening out there, other than Geico expanding and DigArc and those kind of projects, and the NOAA project, if you're familiar with that, are cargo and commercial air service. And so if you want to be praying about something, those are the two things you need to pray about, that we would be able to accomplish both in this city in the next 2 or 3 years. I think you got the right man out there to do it. He's assertive. I think the city commission's behind him. And I think we can make a lot of hay out there in the next few years. I really do. It's a great asset. Yeah, Dean?
Take a minute to talk a little bit about the difference between Catapult 1.0 and Catapult 2.0.
Sure. So Catapult, I won't be able to do this in 1 minute. I'll try. But yeah, you had mentioned earlier that we go visit other cities. So we've been to the Research Triangle Park. We've been to Austin. We've been to San Francisco. We've been to San Diego. We've been to Greenville, South Carolina. Just last year, we've been to Chattanooga, Nashville. We're trying to see people that are ahead of us and learn from them and then bring back best practices. Catapult was one of those projects. In 2013, we went to Chattanooga. We had been to other big cities that had these kind of facilities, but we didn't believe we could do it. But when we went to Chattanooga and said they could do it, we said we could do it. And so we came back and asked just some private investors in Lakeland to kick a little money in. And let's test this concept for three years. And Wesley gave us his building, and just other people kicked in. Some people gave us some money to repurpose a kitchen that was in the basement. Other people, like local architects, helped us design the space. We had the Poor Porker people, actually come in and build out the space. And if you haven't been in the basement of the Bank of America building, you really ought to go see it. It is very unique, cool, hipster, whatever you want to say, space in Lakeland. But you also see a lot of people that are trying to start their own businesses here. And so that 3-year experiment, within 1 year, we had 120 entrepreneurs in there. We thought we'd get 20. or 30, you know, out of the local coffee shops. The kitchen took off. I mean, the Poor Porker spun out of there, Born and Bred Bakehouse, you know, we started getting we've got 16 people in 2 different kitchens in Lakeland right now, in the Gray City kitchen and the one at the Bank of America. So we knew we were on to something. We went to our largest investor, flew some people down from Chattanooga who ran foundations, Coca-Cola bottling money, that actually gave to entrepreneurs and gave to downtown development. Most foundations don't do that. Most foundations are children or, you know, whatever. And so we came down, met with all of our foundations here, and the lead person in the room said, I love what they're doing in Chattanooga. I think we should do it in Lakeland. What you're doing is successful. I want to invest in it. Come back to me with a proposal. So 3 months later, we came back with a proposal, and he said yes and gave us $15 million. Yes, and so then we started beginning to acquire the land on Lake Mirror and putting that together. And so the biggest reason that we needed extra land was for parking downtown. It's a big issue, y'all, and even this 824 spaces isn't going to fix it. I mean, maybe driverless cars will, but I don't know how soon that's going to happen. But the bottom line is we needed to get a site that we could get 100 parking spaces on, and that's why we did it. But at the end of the day, we bought the Cash Feed building. We spent a lot of time and money, and then the hurricane came and just wiped us out. And so we had to start over again. And there was we really thought about not starting again, or looking for another building or something. And it's, after about 6 weeks, we said, no, we got to do this. And so the journey is near the end. Hopefully we'll open this thing up, and when we do open it up, it'll have 6,000 square feet of commercial kitchen in it that'll house 25 to 30 kitchen entrepreneurs. It'll have I call it a maker space, woodworking equipment, metalworking equipment, 3D printers, sewing machines, any maker that's interested in making anything small batch, or if you're just tinkering around in your garage and you want to come help other people build things, we'd love to have you. And then finally, we'll have 30 or 40 offices for people that want to start their own business. I feel the hovering. It is 1 o'clock. Thank you very much.